Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's start in a seated position, whatever that means for you, however you're comfortable, maybe stacking a blanket or a block underneath your hips. Stack your head over your heart and then your hips so we have that length through our spine. Let's take a few breaths here. So hands are in whatever position's comfortable. Drop the chin slightly, rest the eyes, and feel your breath, feeling the upper lungs, the lower lungs, and then the belly. Expand softly with a nice deep inhale. As you exhale, we draw the navel towards the spine. We can imagine bringing new energy into the body and releasing whatever doesn't serve us today. From here, we'll just start with some gentle neck movement. So chin hangs down towards the chest a little bit more, and then ear to the shoulder and around to the other side, ear to shoulder and chin to chest. Maybe you take a moment and you pause because it feels good in one area. And you try to relax those shoulders down just a little bit more. But we're just moving in a way that feels good. Maybe about 70% throughout our entire class, just allowing our bodies to open naturally. And then we'll come back to center and then back up into that neutral position. Let's take a moment and roll through those shoulders, finding movement through the spine. And then we'll go the other way. Just allowing yourself to move in a way that feels really good for your body. And then coming back to center. Evening out. We're going to draw some energy into our bodies today. So we're going to start by leaning our chest forward. Big inhale and rounding the back as you exhale. A nice circle on your sit bones. So move with your own breath. Really feel that energy drawing down to your belly. Having your hands in whatever position is comfortable. Just bring that spine movement in. Beautiful stretching through the spine. Nice deep breaths. And then we'll go the other direction. Finding that movement through our hips. Feeling that connection to whatever you're sitting on, be that your blanket or your mat. One more circle all the way around. And then release. Come back to center. Find that neutral position. And we're going to bring our hands onto our shoulders. From here, we're going to turn. So we're going to go as gentle turn, and we're just going to move back and forth with a little bit of a shorter breath, gentle movement, bringing energy through the spine here. So you can move slower and find that nice rotation. Or if you're starting to feel a little bit of flexibility here, you can move a little bit more. But remember to relax the arms. If this feels uncomfortable, you can just have those arms kind of out in front and just feel that flow from side to side. And just relax into it. Find that middle body opening. That energy is starting to flow through your body. And then we'll ease off. So we'll start gently coming back to center and then release. Release those shoulders down. And now we're going to lift up. So we're going to find that length through our spine. Reach, reach, reach. And then relax that right arm down and find length through your side body. So bend into that arm. Remember that top arm's nice and extended. We want to avoid that kink. Find length from your fingers down to your hip. And then come up. Inhale up. Exhale through to the other side. Nice relaxation through the shoulders. Remember, it's just reaching through the ribs, down the side body. And we're going to do that again. So coming up and then through to the other side. Maybe you're starting to feel a little bit of heat building in your body. Remember to focus in on your breath. Your breath tells us so much about how we feel. One more time, up and then through. Few breaths here. And then release, come up. This time, reach, reach, reach. And then relax. One more twist for our spine here, taking that right hand across to the knee or thigh. Left fingertips are on the floor. Remember to focus on that lift more than the twist. So bringing that space back to our vertebrae, and then just gently looking to the side, or you can look over the shoulder, up to you. Remember to listen to your body. Take a few more breaths. Relax the shoulders down a little bit more. And then when we come back to center, leave that right hand where it is and take the left arm across and over to the other side. Lift and lengthen through your spine and then fold a little bit, reaching your arms around your knees or your thighs, or you can bring them down to the floor, feeling a beautiful opening through the shoulder blades. Remember to keep your sit bones connected to your mat, finding length through the lower back. And then release. Release the arms. Inhale and come up. Roll the shoulders back. Find that beautiful length through your spine. And then we'll move into the other side. So left hand to the knee or the thigh. Right hand to the side. Fingertips just gently touching. Lift and lengthen and then turn and twist. Looking over the shoulder if that feels good. Let your shoulders hang down a little bit more. Check in. Are you lifting through the crown of your head? And then release, keeping that left hand where it is. This time the right arm comes across. Lift up and then fold forward, reaching those arms a little bit more, relaxing the head, neck, and shoulders. Taking a few more breaths. Feel your sit bones connected. Nice opening through the back and the shoulders. And then release. Inhale, come up. Roll those shoulders back. And then we're going to stretch out the legs for a moment. So maybe you take that blanket and move it behind. Relax them. Just find some length through the legs here. Maybe you curl those toes, straighten them. Whatever feels good. Rocking those hips side to side. The legs. Take a moment. Whatever feels good. And then sit up nice and tall. And then if you can, fold forward just a little bit. Remember, a little bit can go a long way. So keeping that length in the spine and then just relax the head down. And then release. Inhale, coming up. Roll those shoulders back and bend the knees. We're going to come onto our hands and knees next. So if you want that extra bit of padding, take that blanket, unfold it, and bring it underneath your knees. Our goal is always to have our wrists and our shoulders aligned and our knees under our hips. Spread your hands nice and wide. Remember, we're getting that nice stretch through our palms here. Unlock the elbows, push out of the shoulders, and engage the core while your feet are nice and relaxed on the mat. Taking a few breaths, we'll move into our cat and cow variation. So drop the belly and lift the hips and look up just a little bit on your inhale. Exhale, chin to chest, navel to spine, punching and rounding the back. And then release. Moving with your own breath. And chin to chest, navel to spine, rounding the back. You can continue with that for a few more breaths. You could tilt your hips side to side while wagging your tail. You could find a full body circle, pushing out of the palms. Heels come towards your hips and around, doing a couple of circles one way and then the other. Just listen to your body. Allow yourself to feel called to move in a way that feels good to you. Two more breaths here. And release. All right, we're going to come into kind of a high lunge. So we'll move our hands forward first, and then we'll take our right leg and we'll lift it up. You might need a couple of things here to move. If you can just sweep it to the front, feel free, but just bring that foot forward. So maybe you keep your left hand on the mat and you shimmy your toes a little bit. The goal is to find length through your hips. So we want to take it easy from here. We can come up and just stay here in this beautiful high lunge position, kind of sinking into our hips. Feel that length through the left side. We're just moving nice and slow to find a position that's comfortable. Now we can stay here. You could challenge your balance by lifting your arms overhead. That's a great option. If you have a lot of flexibility in your hips, feel free to bring your hands down to the mat. Then you can shimmy your foot forward a little bit more and really lean into this. Remember, if your hands are on the mat, you want to take your foot out to the right side of your mat a little bit. Wherever you are, we're going to take two more breaths, okay? This is going to extend and lengthen through that front of our hip. You might feel it in the front of your right hip as well. And then when we release, if our hands are on the ground, we're going to pick up our right hand and bring our right foot back so we're hips distance, the legs are even. And then we're going to gently push back. So this might be nice and slow. Remember, we're challenging our core here. So tighten through your core to help balance and then curl back those toes. Find length through your leg. Now, if you have the balance and stability, feel free to lean forward. That's great, but remember, don't round. Lengthening through the back. And then we'll release. So however you want to get out of this, remember, we can just put our hands down and kind of move our foot in whatever way feels good. Okay, nice and slow. That's the key with any of these. We're going to take a break for a moment in child's pose before we do the other side. So we're going to just line up our knees and our hips, and then we're going to shoot our hips back towards our heels. Remember, this is a time to relax and take a moment. So we want our head to be on a surface, be that our fist stacked, be that a block, or down to the mat. But we want to relax. So release the arms. Maybe you take them around the side of your legs so the palms face up towards your feet. But wherever you are, the key is to just take a moment, find length through your spine, relax the shoulders, feel the abdomen expand into the thighs with each breath. Two more breaths. And then on the next inhale, we'll slowly come up onto the hands and knees. Now we're going to go into the other side. So again, moving nice and slow. You might shift your hands to the side. So you can shift your weight to the right and then pick up your left leg. However you want to get it in front. We're moving nice and slow for a reason, nice and intentional. Now remember, you don't have to go very far to feel a stretch through the hip. You can have everything lined up, okay? So you can have your hip over your knee and your knee over your ankle. It's gonna be up to you. From here, if you want, take your toes and shimmy them forward a little bit more, okay? So then you can find more length. Remember, when we have that space and we're not on one line, that gives us stability side to side. So we can kind of lean onto our left leg. We could come overhead. It's going to be up to you, okay? If you have that flexibility and you want to come down and bring that leg even further forward and bring that weight into your hands, feel free. But remember, the goal is to just allow your hips to open. This is a big challenge for our balance as well as for our hips. And we just want to try and give ourselves a little bit of grace, knowing we're pushing our limits today, and try to enjoy the feeling. We'll take one more breath here, finding that length through the legs, and then we're going to come up. So nice and slow. Remember, if that foot is over to the side a lot, we're going to bring it back just a little bit and then move slowly. So come up, engage your core for balance, and then shift back nice and slow. And curl back those toes. Find that little bit of stretch. Again, if you have that balance and you want to fold forward, feel free. Just balancing like this is really hard. Okay, this is our last big push for today, and we're going to come and lay on our mat, and we're going to release. Okay, last time, child's pose. So hands down, nice and slow movement. Knees in line and a big relaxation here. So bringing those hips towards your heels. Relax everything down. We've gained so much heat in our bodies. We're going to fully let ourselves rest. We did our hard work. We've challenged ourselves in such a new way. And we release and relax afterwards. Take a few more breaths here. As your forehead is resting on the mat or your palms, allow it to soften. Allow your shoulders to relax a little bit more, be that if your arms are in the front or around the sides of your legs. Two more breaths. Really feel that evenness through the hips. Everything's open and flowing. And then we'll slowly come up. Inhaling up onto our hands and knees. And then we're going to turn and come to lay on our back. So wherever you are, we'll move nice and slow, taking those blankets from the underneath our knees and moving them out to the side. We're going to take another moment and relax and enjoy. From here, knees are up if that feels good. Lift your hips and let your lower back nice and close to the mat. From here, you could bring your feet out to the edge of your mat and the knees in towards the center. Or the other option is to bring your feet together and have your knees butterfly open. I want you to fully relax. So whatever that means for you, we just put in so much work. We challenged our balance, our core, our hips, everything. Now's the opportunity to connect to your body. Feel your ribs expand into your mat as you inhale. And as you exhale, the navel just naturally falls to the spine. Remember, it's natural for your mind to wander as we hold poses for longer. Just keep bringing your focus back to your breath. So maybe your hands are on your belly, allowing you to really focus in. Taking 2 more breaths wherever you are. And then if the feet are together, we'll bring those knees up. If they're out to the edge of the mat, we'll bring them in so then everyone can bring the knees to the chest and hug them in nice and tight, circling or rocking from side to side, giving yourself a little bit of a massage on that lower back area. Circling both ways, and then we'll release. We're going to take a moment and stretch those legs out nice and long. Reach the arms overhead and find some length through the front of your body. So just a beautiful stretch through the core, through the front of the hips. And then release. Bring those knees back up. Let the feet hit the ground. Release the arms. Let the lower back hit the mat. So maybe you lift the hips again. We're going to do a little round of core work. So we can keep the arms next to our body where the palms are by the hips and press into the palms and shoulders. But if it's ever hard to keep your lower back close to the mat, take your palms and bring them underneath your hips to assist in keeping that lower back close to the mat. We're going to press into our left foot, extend that right leg out, lift it up nice and long. Now remember, we have 3 options. So we can just lower down with the leg, or we can take that left arm overhead and then reach towards the shin or the knee as we lift up and then lower down. Third option, right hand behind the head, lifting up and reaching across the leg. Lower back. Remember, choose the option that works for you. Combining the breath. So we exhale as the leg comes up. Inhale as we lower down. We'll do 3 more. Slow, controlled movement. Last 2. And 1. Lower down. Release the right arm if you were using it. Stretch out the left leg. Finding length through the core, and then lift both knees back so that the feet are on the ground. Align your position. Press into that right foot so we're nice and solid. This time, left leg extends. Remember that option to just lift that leg up and then lower down is there. Take that right arm overhead if you'd like, keeping the head, neck, and shoulders on the mat, and then reach for the knee or the shin. And then come back. Or left hand behind the head and we reach across and then lower back down. Up to you. You can switch it up the whole time. Just feeling that engagement of our core. We're hitting all sides. Combining the breath with the movement so we get the most out of it. Last 3. 2. And 1. Release. Lift that knee up, draw both knees to the chest. Take a second, relax the abs. Rock side to side or make circles or just hold nice and tight. And then release. Right, take a moment. Do one more exercise here. So coming into our tabletop position. So that means the knees are over our hips this time, and then our shins are trying to make it level to the ground. All right, we're gonna scoop one leg out. So bring that heel towards your hip and then reach out and bring it back to the tabletop position. Reach out with the other leg and bring it back. Okay, so we're just doing like a little bicycle, one side and then the other. If you want that extra bit, you can lift up with the upper body, holding, supporting the head, neck, and shoulders. But we never want to bring tension. So we're going to do a few more rounds, one side and then the other. Remember, huge circles here. Slow movement to get the most out of the lower abs. Nice deep breaths. One more round. We'll do both sides. Last circle. Release the head, neck, and shoulders. Draw those knees in nice and tight. Release them. Stretch out the legs. Reach through to the toes. Reach the arms overhead. Find length through the core. And then relax. Relax the arms. Relax the legs. And then lift one knee and then the other. We're going to have two options here. Lift your lower back so that it comes back to the mat nice and flat. And bring the arms down the side of your body so that the hands are by the hips, pressing into the palms and shoulders. Remember, your chin is lifted so that your neck is in a neutral position. First option, knees to chest, and just lift those toes up to the sky. Just enjoy a beautiful reversal of the blood flow. We still have to use our core here to keep our legs up. The other option is you really want to work those lower abs today. You're really feeling it. You want to push a little bit more. We're going to lift our hips just a little bit. Now, it's not going to be like a swing. We're not going to just swing, okay? It's going to be a little movement, a little lift, just a little lift. So little tiny engagement of our abs goes a long way. We're working those deep muscles, or we're just holding. All right, let's do a couple more, or just hold. Last one. Release, everyone. Bend those knees into your chest. Great work. Not easy. Core strength is something we can always work on. Bringing that focus back to our abs, helping our lower back by strengthening our core. Super important. All right, release. Let those feet come back to the ground. All right, from here, we're going to lift our hips and we're going to roll towards our screen. So we're going to come onto our side bodies. So from here, we're going to lay on our temple and our shoulder, and our knees are stacked, our hips are stacked, and we're going to we can keep our bottom arm bent and take our top arm and reach it out long. Working through our upper body and our shoulders, we're going to roll onto the back of our head as we open up our arm with our palm to the sky as far as we can and just relax into it and then come back. And we're going to do a few rounds. So we're releasing some tension through the upper body. We're rolling from side to side. We're actually using our abs here as well, keeping us stable. Nice chest opener. We'll do one more. And then come back, release and relax. And we're gonna roll back to center. Pause for a breath where we bring those knees into the chest. Feet hit the ground. And then we go to the other side. So we lift the hips, we roll over, we extend the top arm, and then we open up towards the sky. So roll to the back of the head, palm open, and then roll to the temple, palm goes to the ground. And just feel a beautiful opening through the spine, the chest, and the shoulders. Couple more times. One more. And release back to the side first. Relax. Release, come back to center, lift the hips, lower back flat, knees to chest. All right, release the feet to the mat again. Doing one more hip opener, lengthen out your left leg. Then draw your right knee towards your chest. So use both hands. Pull that knee towards your chest as tight as you can. Find a nice opening. This is like our pigeon pose on the mat, but we're using our arms to help open. Now we're gonna release our left arm and just use that right hand, and we're gonna tuck the elbow towards our leg and then open our right knee up to the right side. So we're pulling up and we're just letting gravity assist in opening that hip a little bit more. Let your feet relax. Maybe you bring your left hand to your hip as a cue to keep it on the mat. But remember, the focus is on lifting while gravity assists in opening towards the earth. Come back to center. Draw the knee in with both hands. Release the right arm this time, and then use the left hand to pull up, and then about 45 degrees. So your right hip's going to come off the mat. We're looking for a stretch around the hip and glute area here. The more you pull up towards your chest, the more you'll feel it in that glute. So we're not into our twist yet. We're into an opening of our hip and glute area. Back to center. Knee to chest. And then release. Level out your spine, adjusting so we're nice and flat on our mat. And then left knee comes up. Use both hands. Really pull it up nice and tight. Check in on your neck. Is your chin still lifted towards the sky slightly? So we have that nice alignment. Remember, our goal here is to relax through the upper body while opening up our hips. So now we're going to release the right arm, and we just use that left hand to open up our hip. So tuck the elbow in towards your leg, pull up, and then allow it to open the left side. Nice deep breaths. Remember to pull up and then let gravity do the rest. Check in on your right hip. Is it still close to the mat? And then come back to center. Both knees pull it, or both hands pull the knee in nice and tight. And then release that left arm. And right hand's gonna pull up and then across about 45 degrees. Hip, you're trying to keep it close to the mat, even though it's peeled up. We're still feeling a lovely stretch around the whole glute and hip area. And then release. Come back to center. Draw the knee in towards the chest. Pick the right knee up to meet it. Hug them both in nice and tight. Rocking or circling for just a moment. And then release. Feet hit the ground and then find length through the front of your body. So reach those legs out long, arms overhead. Reach from the fingers to the toes. Now walk your feet over to one side. I'm walking them to the right. Cross the right leg over the left. And then take the upper body and just reach it towards the right side as well. You might take the right hand to the left wrist. We're kind of making ourselves look like a banana or a crescent moon, finding length through the side of your body down to your hip. And then release. Unwrap the arms and legs. Walk them across to the other side. So walking to the left this time. Left leg crosses over the right. The arms reach to the left side. Left hand to right wrist. Finding length through the core, through the side body. And then release. Release the arms, release the leg, lift one knee and then the other, and then hug them in nice and tight, length through the lower back. And release, feet hit the ground. Arms out like a T or a cross, palms and shoulders press into the mat, or bend at the elbows so that the palms face the sky, looking like a field goal post or cactus. Whatever feels most comfortable, enter into your favorite twist or join me in lifting the hips and moving them to one side. Then the knees come towards the chest and they hang to the opposite side. Our goal is to stack our hips. You can turn and look the other direction if that feels good. But we're allowing gravity to do the work for us. Our goal is to have a nice straight spine while entering into this twist, massaging our internal organs. Taking 2 more breaths here. And then release. Come back to center. Realign your position for a moment. Draw those knees into your chest if it feels good. And then release. Back into whatever position felt the best. Lift the hips, move them to the other side, or enter into your favorite twist. Knees to chest and across. Looking to the opposite direction if that feels good. And just allowing your body to soften and open naturally. Checking on your hips and your spine. Are the hips stacked? Does the spine have length? And then release. Relax. Lift the hips. Nice neutral spine. Knees to chest. Hug everything in nice and tight. Maybe you want to rock from side to side. Really find that length for a moment. And then we'll stretch out those legs. Taking a moment. Find a comfortable position. Bring those feet at least shoulders width apart. If you want, you can reach the arms overhead for a moment. Find length through your spine. And then release. You can keep the arms overhead or bring the palms out to the side. Lots of space between the arms and the side of your body. Take a moment. It's just a moment or two to relax. Let that energy reabsorb into your body, resting the eyes and allowing our breath to return to its natural rhythm. Remember, it's important to allow our bodies to reabsorb that energy after the twist. Sometimes we want to rush into what's next. We just need to pause and take a moment with ourselves and our bodies, our minds, and our breath. We just feel our ribs expand and then contract. You feel the belly rise and then fall as the navel relaxes towards the spine with each exhale. And we take one or two more breaths here and we relax the space between our eyes. We soften the jaw and the shoulders. And then we wiggle the fingers and the toes. We roll our wrists and ankles. We bring our feet together and the arms overhead. We stretch from our fingers down to our toes. Lifting the knees so our feet hit the ground. We then lift our hips and move them to one side so we can roll to the other. Pausing here if you feel called to do so. We'll eventually use that top arm to come up into a seated position. Just taking that moment. So important. Naturally coming back. Now we can hold here and find length through the spine, or we can move in whatever way feels good, be that moving side to side or rolling those shoulders. Maybe it's circling through the hips, or maybe it's a combination of the two. Maybe whatever you're feeling right now. And then coming back to center. We'll let that smile come over to carry you throughout the day, and then we'll take a big inhale and reach all the way up. And then exhale, bring those hands down to the heart. Thank you so much for joining me today. We end class with namaste, acknowledging the light within you. It's the same light within me. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Beautiful practice today.